there's always kind of that flavor of picking it after a team's picked it against you, like, we'll show you how it's done.
Yeah.
You know, IG is a team that would do that.
We'll show you, and we'll show you, Anna, how it's done. All right.
Meepo was ignored.
Meepo was ignored as well, too.
And so was Underlord.
And Underlord was also ignored as well, yeah. So IG sticking with the same bans, I think, why not? You just won with it.
Yeah,
I think
Naga, so... Typically a no-tail comfort pick. The guy's a micro master, and something maybe IG just don't really feel comfortable going into here. What about the acknowledgement? Like we were boasting up a lot about the lifestealer for burning. He showed it there firsthand how good he is with the frickin' thing. Yeah. Is it time to just warrant the ban? Is it a first phase kind of ban, a second phase, or just kind of play it?
I mean, I think you'd rather take away the Slardar than the lifestealer. Yeah. But then if you let the Slardar through, then definitely I think if you're OG, you've got to be more worried about the lifestealer than they were evidently in game one, where they did not ban it out. As we said, there was obviously the kind of confusing draft from IG, where they felt that they've already got Burning's hero, he's going to play the Weaver or something in the safe lane. But they've got to be more open-minded about that Slardar lifestealer combo, because it's just deadly when a team like IG gets their hands on it.
This could be where they do decide to change it up a bit. Instead of focusing on like the Shadow Fiend like they did last time, maybe this is where they ban the Slardar. Because it kind of, it's like dealing with both the Drow and, okay, nope, they deal with just banning the Shadow.
I mean, surely IG just takes Slardar again here. Is there any reason for them to change it? Unless they just want to mix it up a little bit. But
maybe they want to change it up, but nope.
It's a winning hero. I mean, come on, it wins games.
Yeah, we're talking about how strong they were with it.
Good. In the last game, too. I mean, now that OG kind of get a feel for what they could be going up against in that safe lane, I'm curious on how they want to kind of change that up, because you're going to be anticipating now a Slardar and possibly that +1 to really just be a nuisance for whoever it is.
Oh, the Dazzle. I love, as I said, I wanted to see Fly playing Dazzle.
You're so smart.
He does it this time. This is going to win him the game. The game is won. OG, they're going to do it. Dazzle, Fly.
At WESG, that's like, people were first picking Slardar, and the responses were pretty much like, Dazzle Sven. Like, even Sven support at times.
It's just like, you want to take our armor away? Well, we're going to bring it right back. Look at that. The OP Ember Spirit possibly set to return here.
Now, is Anna going to play that mid? Or will No-Tail play that in the safe lane? Because in the past, No-Tail did used to do it, didn't he?
That's true. He did.
In old OG. I mean, obviously it's kind of changed. We never really see it played in the safe lane. And
OG, you could say?
They could be the team to do that. They're a team that's experimenting. As we said, we haven't seen them on this patch.
I think it's a possibility. It's much stronger than the mid.
I mean, I can imagine Anna's just very good, so they probably do just put Anna.
Any part of that pick being a deny pick to IG?
Definitely.
A little bit in there.
Definitely.
I mean, you saw what it could do. May saw what it could do, and they're like, you know what, we'll take it. But here we go, right back again.
Right back into it.
We know it works. It's smart as well. I think there's definitely a high chance that, I mean, I think OG would have definitely banned it. If you don't pick it up second, IG last time they got away with it, 5th pick. If you want to do it again, you've got to pick it up straight away.
You see this, and OG have to know what's coming their way now as far as what the game will develop. So I'm curious to see what they're going to get to try to counterplay it a bit.
I wonder if there's any little worry from OG of an axe coming through from IG's side. I mean, I guess it's unlikely because Slardar's there and they can't really fit an axe in. I mean, maybe they pick the axe themselves again. OG, as it was S4 run at game 1. By all means, pick it up. It's great against Dazzle. It's also very good with Dazzle.
I mean, I don't know what kind of a player, because I haven't seen enough of IG personally to know what kind of a player Baboka is.
He's your player. He can play Spirit. Conquers.
So could we see him pick up something like the axe in that position, let's say, or swing him the Slardar in the 4 position, and they try to mix it up and still squeeze in that axe?
I think more than likely he would play the Slardar. I think axe is hard to play on like a 4. Takes too much. You need too many items as well. Like Blink is cool, but you do need other items on top of Blink.
Interesting Terrorblade ban, really, isn't it? I mean, it's obviously a hero that is on paper very good against Lifestealer.
Yeah.
High armor, low max HP, perfect. Put it against the Lifestealer. That's what you want.
Did we see much of Terrorblade at WESG at all? What about even Boston?
Maybe
really
1 or 2 games, but I think
OG picked. I know they picked it at Summit. I know No-Tail played a couple Terrorblade.
Yeah, it's a No-Tail hero for sure.
And they run it whenever they have like this super space creator mid. It's like magic damage. They need a building hitter, and Terrorblade's perfect for that. And as well, like you said, he deals with the Lifestealer in later stages pretty well.
And maybe just IG looking at old trending picks of OG, what worked for them a little bit ago.
High base armor, yeah, just strong.
But, you know, we don't even know yet if OG have found, like, what is in tune for them now in 7.0 plus. So they could be still kind of working that thing out here in this tournament.
It's going to be interesting to see where IG go in the mid lane. I mean, it was totally shut down, really, in terms of the picks. You know, Tinker gone, Shadow Fiend gone, Odie gone, Ember gone. These are OP's heroes. So he's certainly being narrowed down. I mean, I imagine OG won't target the mid lane again here with this fourth ban.
And he's like what seems to be like one of those flashy preferred kind of mid laners too. So I know you mentioned in like the previous draft, like, oh, some of the formidable could be like a Razor, a Viper, but I can already tell, I don't think OP is like one of those kind of guys who's like, Viper? Boring.
We'll see how versatile
Sniper banned
he is.
as well, another mid. They're definitely worried about OP's performance. I mean, understandable so. As we came out of game one, we kind of said OP was the MVP of his Ember. So a very, very strong player. Every reason for OG to target him.
But now we go back to IG side here, and with them kind of riddled through with only a couple of potential mid laners really available, at least prominent mid laners we've seen. I'm curious to see what they're going to be looking to rid of here. Sand King is going to be X'd. And there it is. The illustrious Jerix.
Such a strong, getting both the Dazzle and the ES. This was in the past. I mean, you just don't let OG have. You don't let them have both of those heroes, you know.
Could this be the first time we see all three spirits in the same team? I don't think that's happened yet.
I mean, Anna's very good on the Storm Spirit. They could even do it themselves. If a no-tail on the Ember, they could, but Storm, I don't think we've seen Storm at all this patch.
It's rather greedy.
Is it? I mean, Storm is just not. It's not a hero. Not a hero. I mean, I don't think I've seen a single game where it's been played.
I can't say that I really have either, no.
I want to say back at Summit time it was a little...
Oh, yeah, on previous patches,
patch.
But I mean,
but that was OG's
onwards.
time, so, you know, maybe they'll pull back it out.
Like, I mean, Storm Lifestealer, let's go.
Yeah, I highly doubt it, but back to IG's side now, you see an Earth Spirit coming your way. That factors in a bit when you consider your mid laners too, because you got to get someone who can kind of fend off that pesky Earth Spirit coming in. We saw teams used to go for a lot of like the Mirana, and Puck is also good. Anyone being elusive. And what do you think about that? Puck, Lifestealer, good little vehicle right there. Good way to avoid trouble Earth Spirit. You get your silence.
I mean, if I'm
decent at getting the backlines on top of the Dazzle, but there's a lot of different lockdown to deal with the Puck.
I'm liking the fact that Darkseer is still in the pool. You know, IG, they could still get that up. If they are going to run Slardar, as it obviously a pairing on the bottom lane, or have him roaming around. XXS's Darkseer is very, very strong.
Or what about Darkseer for S4?
I mean, it would be great for a S4 as well. I think Darkseer is the hero at the moment for both sides.
Yeah, I really like Darkseer for OG. That's what I was leaning on. Ember Spirit and Earth Spirit both get enabled.
And I know we've seen S4 play that hero. I mean, at first when S4 jumped into the off lane for OG, we saw a lot of the mid lane heroes be transferred over. He was playing the Bat Rider in the off lane for a bit. He was very good with the Axe. I think I even saw a game where he played the off lane Puck, but he still was able to pull out the Darkseer. And that's when we kind of, well, some people were getting skeptic on S4 in the off lane. It's like we're used to seeing him all the mid lane heroes, but when he has to play those kind of heroes now, how's it going to be? Well, for now they pass on the off lane altogether. They're going to go for the Sven here.
No-tail Sven.
Minus armor. Yeah. It's just Warcry with Weave. It completely counteracts. Amplify.
I mean, already this just seems like, you know, game one, OG, they're turning up, they had a plan, they wanted to do a drought strat. They're like, all right, this is what IG do. This is our answer, and it's looking like a very good answer.
It's a lot of melee, but I still like that Darkseer on OG too, now even with the Sven.
I think
Darkseer is,
I think it's perfect.
It's the hero.
Yeah. That's like ridiculous wombo combo factor there too. So much.
They have lots of mixed damage now. That's their big, like their only physical damage really, because they're all...
We'll see though. IG could still snag it up for themselves here, as they recently picked up that Ogre to be like their cornerstone support, if you will. Still missing what I imagine to being the Q hero, along with, of course, OP's grab.
Yeah.
And I think they didn't wait for OP's hero in the final pick last time, so could be a chance we see him pull it out here and now. It could be banking on the fact that you're going to have a matchup against that Ember in the mid lane. Any value to going for something like, I mean, I don't know if it's a capability like getting a jug for the mid lane. No, Invoker. Flashy player, man. He's a freaking flashy player. This kid's like Kobe Bryant.
And one of the answers we talked about to the Ember Spirit. It really is something you've got to be worried about playing the Ember in this current patch. If you're going for that Magic Ember as almost certainly will be, you got to be careful of the old Invoker coming out with the Tornado and really just shutting down anything that you try and do in the mid game.
It's very good at just stopping like the combo too. If Earthspirit and Ember try to go on the Invoker here, he's crosswhacked, he just tornadoes and runs back. All of the heroes on OG are also very susceptible to EMP. Sven, if he gets hit by one early game, he has nothing. Can't even use Warcry unless he has stick charges. Same thing with Dazzle. Very low mana pools until Ember builds up like that. I mean, the Veil build which we've been seeing so common.
Silence of that.
At the end.
I mean, obviously one of the counters to Dazzle. You know what I mean. We see Chinese teams who play.
And Ember.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much mobility that you're relying on. Yeah,
they all hate
for
that.
Sure, for sure. Yeah,
Mid
the global silence.
You're not going to be dropping any more stones. It's tough. So getting rid of the silencer is pretty honorable. But I imagine for IG, between Ogre and this mysterious 5th pick, I mean, you're still going to have someone by the side of that Invoker. I mean, he is susceptible to getting hit on by that Earth Spirit. Has not the best way of making it out. I mean, he could Ghost Walk away, but I mean, it's Jarek's Earth Spirit, man. This guy will jump in, and instead of just getting for the stun, he'll kick you back into the other team.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what would be really nice.
For RG?
Yeah.
I think, could they still look towards the Shadow Demon, which has been relatively ignored this series? I mean, the Darkseer ban.
Shadow Demon with the Invoker's pretty nice for the global setup.
You know, you've had, yeah.
And, late game it'd be nice, but the Jakiro grab, a support Jakiro grab.
Gives him some team fight.
Kind of forces the Sven to think about getting a BKB earlier than maybe he wanted to.
More tower pushing too.
Yeah, tower pushing and team fight I think are the big ones.
He can be very annoying in the laning phase with the little liquid fire there too. Especially against someone like Sven. Ooh, could they put the Jakiro and Slardar together to annoy the Sven?
They could certainly put pressure.
That would sound like a nightmare.
Yeah, Ogre or Jakiro with the Slardar could definitely put a lot of pressure on that dual lane.
What did they guess for?
Oh, it's the forehead strat. I didn't even realize it too. Man, IG pulling it back, man.
Oh, you're right. The Ogre Jakiro.
The infamous forehead strat.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I want to see something flashy for S4. That'll do. S4 on his clock. That'll do. You know, good old S4 clock to finish it off.
Yeah. The value of the clockwork. What do you think? Ling in a pincer, lock down the lifestealer, bump back the Slardar a bit.
Gives him a real form of initiation so the Earth Spirit doesn't have to act as that one. And it gets guaranteed experience in the offlane. It's okay.
It's quite nice as well, isn't it, against kind of a Slardar lifestealer, because if you're great with your positioning like S4 is, he can wait for them to jump in, just try and get behind them, make sure that suddenly Invoker, Jakiro, and Ogre don't come barreling down behind them, and, you know, suddenly the team is entirely split up, Slardar and lifestealer in too deep, and you know, Dazzle's there to give the team sustain to allow OG to punish those two, then turn on to the rest of them.
All right, guys, quick predictions before we throw it over to our casters here.
I can't believe I'm going against the Jarek's Earth Spirit. I like IG.
You're going against it?
I like IG. I like the way that they played the last game too. I like the way that they pressured the safe lane. I'm liking the way that they did it. I'm going to go with them again.
I thought IG's draft was better in game one. They took it. I've got to say, I think OG's draft is just perfect here. They've got Dazzle, they've got Earth Spirit. They've got this game in the bag. We're going to a game 3.
All right, we'll see if that's the case or not. Are we going to be in store for our first game 3 of the tournament, or IG going to be able to bust ahead into the semifinals with a 2-0 upset against OG? We'll find out in a moment. Let's go ahead and throw it over to our casters right now. It's Toby1 and Myrtleini.
Yes, it's great to be back here for game number 2, OG versus IG. OG again, Ben, it looks like we're pulling out the stock standard. This is a standard size table of OG.
The Clockwork doesn't have that much synergy with his Sven, but he is good at perhaps protecting the Ember Spirit. It's very good versus the Jakiro, and decent versus the Lifestealer, I would say. But yeah, pretty standard, I would say, for OG. This is maybe a one that we would see maybe a couple patches ago, aside from the Ember Spirit mid, which they definitely wanted to swoop up from OP's hands.
Yeah, instead of giving them both that combination, like having both Lifestealer as well as Ember Spirit in IG's hands just looked like too much for any team to really deal with. And IG gonna try and, like I say, mix things up themselves. Bringing the Invoker now into the mid lane, but the Jakiro pickup. What's your thoughts behind this? Like with this now 4th position or 5th position Jakiro?
Jakiro's great. I think he's very underrated. Firstly, I think his talents are really good.
Hello, OG. Roll forward. Hello, and goodbye, Ogre. It was really, really nice knowing you. This will allow OG not only to get first blood, but they'll also secure 3 of the bounty runes.
Just pieced out of there. I think Jakiro's his talents are really good. I like the cast range, especially on him. It's slightly better in Aether Lens, but he just sieges extremely well. He's kind of like the Chinese version of the NA Leshrac. In terms of being able to convert to pushes and having some sort of disable on your support.
Man, Ember's going to be really happy he was the one that actually claimed the first blood there. So by picking up first blood, he's able to get enough money to get close to his bottle, and maybe with a little bit of help from Jirax. The roaming in, the Ogre becomes the target. Becomes the target instead of having someone like the Invoker being going on. So in a way, Invoker does do his work.
Is limited on levels though. You want to get as much XP as possible onto the Invoker. Ogre is kind of soaking up this. He does get rolled on into the mid lane, and this could be second blood right there.
Wow, I didn't actually think he'd go back in again.
Yeah, he kind of just walked down the hill and then got rolled on. So it was, gotta respect the Earth Spirit, man.
Yeah, that's that time where you almost start to check out other lanes like I was doing. It's like, oh, I wonder how S4's doing on the top. Because I know when S4 plays his clockwork, especially up against a live stealer, it's not an uncommon matchup for him to have. He gets really, really aggressive. He'll push up always with cogs, always looking to burn off any kind of mana of the live stealer, just making it as an opportunity for him to potentially gank out. Like Jakiro doesn't care. He's a Jakiro with liquid fire level 1. So he doesn't mind if he has mana burnt. That's a good trade-off for him.
And he was able to get that last hit on a lot of the creeps there. The range creep, the big one with the rocket. So a lot of gold going his way. That will be early boost. So he is a very fast Clockwork. Clockwork's already naturally fast with 315. Now he's sitting at 380 move speed.
Where are you up to, Jirax? Like he's trying to go for this roaming initiation in through the rear of OP. But this Ogre is all over him, and now, okay, maybe he'll still be able to get it. And OP Newer is coming. The Sunstrike's going to hit Ana, but there's not enough damage. Maybe with the Ignite, the damage from the tower, Ana, Jirax trying to push him further away with the bottle recharges. Ana will even stick around for an extra last hit. We'll move over and trigger off the Shrine. Looks like meanwhile up on the top lane, oh, that aggressive Clockwork dies to the Jakiro and Lifestealer combination.
Lifestealer actually went 2 and Feast. I don't see that very often. Almost always is 1-1-1 at level 3, but maybe that little bit of extra damage, not something that S4 was prepared for. Also, I think this build has extra mana in a lane versus a Clockwork because you don't always have mana for Rage.
Yeah. Or mana for both when you're trying to go for those kills. So sustain is great, and you only need to have 110 mana to work. Rolling Boulder from Jirax, that was a little slow and a little off target. Trying to use that Observer Ward, which is defensively placed on his side of the river, to just line up the Ogre. Oh, wow. That's actually a really nice Searing Chains. There's no Quas on the Invoker, so he's not a real tanky style Invoker. He's having to burn through a lot of consumables to stand in the lane.
Normally, the way you counter that is just by tornadoing as soon as they go on you. So I'm a little surprised that he didn't go for the Quaswex because it's a far more common build.
Jirax is going in for it! He's looking for the kill on the Invoker, and he's got it! The perfect kick, the perfect control!
Wow, that was
and there's nothing Ogre could have done about it.
I bet he's probably regretting not going Quaswex. I think he would have been like close to, you know, half HP or even more with a Quas regeneration, and it's just so incredibly good versus the Ember Spirit. Just take off that Flame Guard immediately, and because they do have a lot of melee heroes, 4 to be exact, it would prove to be even more useful later on in team fights. But it will help him last hit a lot. He has picked up the 1 point in Quas early.
You can see Jirax here try to make the call. We'll actually take this bounty rune too. But the primary thing was he was pinging out for the Shrine saying, hey S4, are you ready to use this thing now? So all that roaming, all that ganking that happened, all the contesting of the camps, all of it just gets regenerated. Meanwhile, Notel has the time of his life.
Yeah, he's just been farming down there the whole time. Slaughter has been Iron Taloning. He's almost level 5 on the Slaughter, so I think it's been worth it for him. And Sven and Lifestealer CS is roughly equal despite the Clockwork being up here, so I do like the amount of farm coming out from IG's offlaner, XSS.
I was wondering too, like how you then build the build on him, on Jirax, a little bit of trouble. As you finally your point up in Quas, so Cold Snap keeps the Earth Spirit under control. But you remember the old days of, okay, maybe not, I'll never get to this point. Sven, nice Storm Bolt over onto, there's no Ice Path, but if Notel sticks around, he can still get hit by the Dual Breath, and that will keep him in range for a sprint into Crush.
Remember back when Toby was trying to tell that story for the first time?
Yeah, it was a great time. It was almost as old as the story of Loda, which I was trying to say, where he would used to go the Hand of Midas on that safe lane Sven when he knew he'd get a lot of space.
I think that was before Echo Saber. Echo Saber is just so good on Sven that it's really hard to pass up. And of course that was also before the times of the new and improved Helm of the Dominator, which I also think is very good on the Sven, especially if you have the ice armor. to deal with the Lifestealer and the Slardar.
And Dirac, not for the one of trying, is always trying to get into that Invoker. They're still pretty neck and neck on the CS between the two of them, but it's keeping the Ogre in the mid lane, and maybe that's what they're looking for even more. Do they see the... No, they didn't see the Jakiro come in. They only see the Ogre. Now they'll see the Jakiro. So first stuns, the dual breath as well. All is going to connect with Cold Snap. The ticks just continue on the Ember Spirit. And it's this double combination when you've got both Alacrity as well as having the Ogre Bloodlust.
Nice damage on the Lifestealer there. He got his mana burned down all the way through from Cogs and didn't have enough stick charges to counteract that. The Jakiro dropped a sentry ward in the middle lane, so they knew that they didn't have any vision of them as they were approaching from that side. I do like that from them too. Killing the Ember right before he gets level 6.
I'm looking for net worth.
Oh, he might triple Remnant over here. Well, I thought he was about to. Maybe respecting the 6 stick charges.
He's also... Okay, well... Cold Snap runaway. They shouldn't have that Shrine back off cooldown. Got another 35 seconds before it could be triggered. It looks like S4 is actually just going to refill up his bottle for him. But this is S4's first rotation. Already hit level 6. And where's that vision for the dire side? They have absolutely none.
They have it in the mid lane. Or
oh, okay, now they see him. Now they see him. He's in range of the Observe Ward. To be honest, I thought he was going to hang around a little bit further to the south, like just in this little area, and go for the hook up that direction. But not the case.
Still searching for a kill, perhaps.
If he can find one, but because they know where he's moved, Burning can just wait it out. He's still got Infest available too, which makes that gank from S4 a little bit more difficult. Ember Spirit, oh actually with Cold Snap and Ignite, that's a level 2 Ignite. And it's ticking down, he has to commit the wand charges. At 13 of those available too.
S4 on top.
Oh, he went for that hook shot. Point blank range with the battery assault. Actually keep the control going. He needs to reach the creep so he can infest. He's not in range. Now he is. Infest in. He actually hit one of the big creeps, and now with the extra help arriving from Ogre, Jirax will make a little bit more of a buffer between him and S4.
That was a really nice hook shot. Normally you use hook shot to close his distance, but he used it to chain stun both of them.
They're buying time. It's all about bringing Ana in range to the Ogre. He's got Searing Chains available. Doesn't want to trigger it just for him. So Sleight of Fist first. There's an extra spirit. Blight is holding by. The Sunstride's coming in. Ana, the Shallow Grave will keep him alive. You've still... Actually, you don't have the mana for another Shadow Wave. Kick from Jirax. This is all about the disengage. Rolling, bouldering down, more support arriving from the Ogre. He won't get there in time to get the stun over onto the two front runners. Maybe on the fly, but nope, they pull out of the chase.
Ooh, Mask of Madness first from Sven. Groove being heavy on the armor.
We're increasing that farm efficiency.
I think he is one of the best heroes to get Mask of Madness on because he just has so much armor for Warcry. People generally just aren't going to focus using the Warcry. And duration 8 seconds, Berserk duration 8 seconds on Mask of Madness, perfect synergy.
Isn't it that that other question you asked? Like, if you just get Echo Saber, don't you get that quick attack? Obviously, you get the movement speed that comes along with this, so he's going to be moving like very, very quickly.
It's better for sustained fights, however. I don't know, I generally prefer Echo Saber a little bit more, but the lifesteal is really, really useful at taking out the ancient stacks too. If you're... The thing about Mask of Madness is it gives you a lot of HP regen, but not that much mana regen, so he's actually forced to buy 3 clarities. He's using 1 right now, and has 2 more in the stash. So I think that's another benefit that the Echo Saber provides over the Mask of Madness is having this mana regeneration.
At least with the changes that it's a lot harder to cancel those things now.
Yep. He's actually going for an armlet, so just going for a straight man mode build. Getting right in there.
You asked, like, man, was OG going to fight a little bit sooner? And they're kind of going to do that, judging by the way they're building up.
The other way to play it is with a Helmet Dominator into Echo Saber into Blink, and then get a Frost Armor creep so that you're very, very tanky, and you don't need the help of the Weave, nor really the Warcry at the start of the fight to be able to get in there. But this one's a little bit different. It's not as burst heavy. Like, you're not doing a lot of damage at the start of the fight, but like 4 or 5 seconds into the fight, you're going to be doing a lot more damage with the Mask of Madness. I also think it helps with the move speed when you're trying to chase down very fast heroes like the Invoker and the Sardar, and heroes with Bloodlust. You're going to get kited a lot more than you would be if you went the other build, the Echo Saber build.
And with all of these items arriving, I'm starting to get more concerned. I thought it would be a problem that OP's behind. Like, the Invoker had a quite a decent start when you looked at the CS, but if you look at the net worth, sitting at 2.9k, compared to now to the 4.9k of this Sven. Now, obviously, Sven's going to get a lot further in front when you're not contesting up a lot of the camps, a lot of the jungle, but like, you're 10 minutes in and you're still looking for that minus on the Invoker.
And look at Earthspirit's net worth right next to the Invoker. He's neck and neck.
Even more problematic. In fact, the Invoker could be in the bottom 4 if the Earthspirit continues to get, like, continuous successful rotations without deaths.
All it takes is for him to get his Midas, use his -1s, and then get like a Sunstrike kill, and he'll be way further ahead. So there's a lot more upside for him coming further into the game if they can actually set up kills for him. And
in comes the gank.
They have prioritized the slaughter blink tag. He does have it 10 minutes in, so almost the exact same time as last game. Can he blink a dodge this? It's gonna be pretty difficult.
If you knew where Jirax is, like Jirax is about to roll in and catch him by surprise, so the rolling boulder comes forward, but it's the Ogre Magi. He was there to help out. He was meant to tilt the balance of that fight on bottom lane, but now on the run, the kick is nice and quick, and that's one very dead Ogre.
Nice play from No-Tail. Just walking in, scouting out. No one is going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with him.
Yeah, and Jakiro gets caught out in the top lane. Quick hook in, and looks like only a Shadow Wave would have to be lended by Fly to get the extra bit of damage with Battery Assault up at level 4. So a 4-1-1 build now.
It's so high level 8 on the Clockwork already. Clockwork is so good versus Jakiro. Jakiro really can't do anything with the Clockwork right on top of him. And doesn't really want to build the Force Staff first, although he might have to this game. X trying to make first use of that gank Fly. They kind of see him. They don't have a way to stop his TP right now, or even a Grave TP.
Yeah, they need to properly see him in the tree line. In a way, Fly makes the right choice just to bail. Is that Invoker minus, so it took 11.5 minutes, but it now arrives. Really just need that little bit of time, right? So now he's moved from potentially being in the bottom 4 to being in the top 4 in the net worths.
Yep. He can also combo with a Slaughter to get a quick Sunstrike kill. S4 hook off cooldown in 2 seconds time, looking for that prize Invoker kill. Or perhaps someone else on the top lane. They might just get a Jakiro though.
Well, I'll be happy with the Jakiro, but I'm also watching the other rotation. It's coming over for Sven. So No-Tail is freely farming into the tier 1 tower. So Jakiro, yeah, he's going to be the obvious target. S4's not going to commit too much for this one, but the bigger target is actually in mid lane. It's No-Tail dying with a smoke rotation. They went for the Infest Blink Crush. And, okay, Urga, this is not going to make it as worthwhile unless that happens. Intimidated enough with just the movement forward from IG. You just bail out with the Earth Spirit.
Yeah, that's a very high priority target. Sven actually has to buy 2 more clarities?
He's got 2 in his backpack now.
Yeah, I think he used his other 3. That's 250 golden clarities. That's a lot.
Needs more mana pool.
Yeah, maybe. Well, he didn't take the mana at level 10.
He took the strength at level 10 instead.
Just wants to be tankiest hero in the game.
I'm also keeping my eye over on the Ember Spirit. Because you wonder, like, is it actually worthwhile bypassing it for other points? Because right now he's already filled up his 10.
Generally think spell amplification is really useful, but one slide is really useful for just dodging stuff. Like you can dodge the EMP mana blast. It's very easy to dodge. Just buying you a couple seconds of invulnerability is also quite nice. And then the level 4 steering change is a big difference because of the 3-second duration as opposed to 2. So you can get on board with that.
No-Tail just got so much money. So he just completed up the entire armlet coming on the courier. Up lane, Sunstrikes are on the way. Ember Spirit takes a lot of damage, and then with the Sleight of Fist, Spirit jumps back out again. Able to dodge a little bit of the damage and a perfect Ice Path from Q. Jirax looking at rolling boulder forward. And not do that through the Ice Path.
Did that Sunstrike whiff?
It looked like it did. Yeah. It didn't look like it was on target, because it definitely hit before he Sleight of Fist. Now, Cold Snap over on No-Tail. They need to get first the stun and the ignite. Keep that Cold Snap rolling and burning. Not enough mana to actually trigger an open wound, so No-Tail looking to try and turn on this fight. With the Shallow Grave, you have a little bit longer to fight. A Shadow Wave is also available, burning. Backing out, remember he still has that toggle with the Tornado. No-Tail actually toggling even harder with a hook shot forward from S4. They catch out the Invoker, and Jirax plus the Ember on the back lines. It's so much damage! IG will lose 4 heroes. Burning just ran away to shrine it up. They basically lost all the life of all 5 heroes. Burning's just lucky enough he can toggle it.
Ice Grave coming out from Dazzle there, and they were fighting when Sven had almost full stacks of weave. He had 52 armor close to the tail end of the fight, and they thought a simple tornado plus a couple of right clicks would take him down. But nope, their lineup is tailored for mass plus armor. They're going to need a lot more magic damage to burst through this.
Don't think S4 realized the courier went back. He had a clarity deliver, but it's got his 4-star sitting on the courier. Yeah, now the courier almost gets back to Fountain before it turns around. Not going to mean that much, he just has to burn the movement speed for it.
Tower is under attack. Dire's top tower
They weren't able to connect on the Slaughter Kings, though. They need more kills, preferably on the Ember Spirit, but he actually went for a more tanky build. So Veil is standard for the armor and just for the plus magic damage, but Treads is pretty atypical on the Ember Spirit. He just wants to be able to survive so he can get Graves, so he can Remnant out, and I think IG are actually going to have damage issues when it comes to bursting down the Ember Spirit, especially because there's no Echo Saber yet on Lifestealer, and they're also going to have to build additional damage items to deal with the Warcry and all of this other expensive items.
You're making a very large shopping list for people who are missing out on so much of the jungle where they get their income from.
Definitely, but that's where the Jakiro is supposed to come in. They haven't taken down any towers 16 minutes into the game, which is very, very late. Like Jakiro, like normally you just follow up after like a Lifestealer and Fest Bomb, or you just go with your team and push towers together, but he hasn't really been able to do that without dying.
Yeah, almost every single one of those bombs that's happened has been like either near a tower, but there's been a lot of support there, or it's been inside the jungle. So there just has never been the opportunity, but now they do it. So the T1 tower on bottom lane will go down. There's more support. The rocket flew over the top of both Burning as well as XXS. And it is time to leave Jakiro. Unless... Okay, well, OG are not forcing the issue, and he knows this. This observer ward which they planted down inside the Radiant jungle is seeing the maneuver. So Q does the best thing he can do. Get the attention of OG. Burn down the creep wave with the Macropire, and then let the Liquid Fire do the work against the tower.
Ana a little bit fearful of that Slaughter and Fest Bomb, but little does he know, Slaughter all the way hiding in the top side in the tree, just waiting for someone to push out potentially. Earth Spirit could fall for this trap.
Have to come out a very long way. And now with the Blink Dagger over on the Earth Spirit, it's a lot more difficult to actually hit that trap.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's still being patient though.
Well, he can wait for probably ever, and it's never going to happen. Like the Slaughter.
Push out the wave sometime.
And Jarek's gonna be a happy man. Back into the safety, just a roll and a blink away towards his tower so he can move out a little bit further.
And they had that observer ward, so they did see the Slaughter chilling up here, which means Ember is way safer than he would be normally.
They also just got glimpses of both Ogre as well as Jakiro. So the numbers are starting to display themselves for IG on the top lane. OG aren't in a bad position for the fight. Right, it actually looks like they want it. Fly's going to TP up to the tier 2 tower. Maybe expecting some kind of push to come in, but they're going to push back. So a quick smoke, 4-staff down, the rocket up, so they have the vision over on the Invoker. The Stormbolt going to be actually dodged by Ghost Walk. As Q starts his TP, there is stuns available, so he will not successfully complete that. So a good little snipe out there from OG. They brought all 5 heroes up, and it looks like they were kind of wanting more than just a Jakiro though.
Yeah, Jakiro's been dying in all these fights so far. Ana does have an invisibility rune. There is a sentry ward perhaps waiting for him, but it is too late. He might approach from the backside, it looks like, and they don't have a sentry ward over there.
Nope, they do have one on the Ogre for now. Oh, the Stormbolt with the damage is a mix of physical as well as magical. And a pure spectacle of death. And IG, the main course for OG is OP locked inside the cogs, kicked down. And that Veil did so much work when they jumped in with both the Clockwork as well as the Ember. And just held in position by Stormbolt.
Yeah, there's very little that the Lifestealer and the rest of IG can do about it. Invoker just struggled so much. I still disagree with this build to go Exord and Wex first before going for the Quas Wex, and everyone's just falling like flies. Ana going for the last kill. He does have...
he doesn't actually have his Sleight of Fist. And now he's trapped, so Spirit to get back down the cliffside. Quick silence. It's just a really good stun out from Slaughter, but the Ogre's here as well. Anna needs a lot of help. He's got another Sleight of Fist, can't get it off in time. Crush from the Slaughter does the work. And Ember Spirit, big kill streak sent the way of the Slaughter.
Shrine saving Q's life there.
We're actually going to lose more with no Ember Spirit. The Clockwork's going to rocket in, so they realize that Roshan's happening. Durax is in the neighborhood. So a defensive board up for the Ogre.
Can't even buy back on the Ember Spirit, even if he wanted to.
You're going to need the control factors of this Invoker, but now with the kick, the rolling boulder, and the cogs! Invictus Gaming, Lifestealer and Ogre bite the dust.
Oh, Jerax from the outside of the pit, silencing and controlling the Lifestealer constantly, and I think that's one of the huge benefits of having the Earth Spirit as a support against the Lifestealer. You have the instant cast. If you can prevent him from getting off his rage by getting the instant silence off, that is a very quick and easy way to win the fight.
S4's looking for the kill. They'll need to find Q in the tree lines. But he's got the haste rune, so with Battery Assault, yeah, he'll get the stun off. He reaches it in time with the help of the Force Staff. So you can say goodbye to the Jakiro as well. Roshan and multiple kills coming the way of OG, creating more space for their very farmed up 1 and 2 positions.
IG are just not really working together well as a team. They can hardly get any kills with the Starter plus the Lifestealer. They haven't really been able to connect on that many Sun Strikes. Like mid lane was just a disaster. Ogre giving up 2 deaths very early on, and then Invoker also giving up another 2 deaths, and yeah, more heroes will bite the dust.
Kicked back by Jerax. All he wants to do is put the Ogre into a bad position. Slaughter's in the neighborhood, but what are you going to do? If you blink it and crush this, you're probably just going to give a secondary kill. There's no reason to take that risk. They've lost their tier 2 tower, they've lost the Ogre. All they can do is continue to farm up and potentially get some items which will change the course of this fight. But you're running double Midas. Both Slaughter as well as Invoker have theirs. But you're losing map control.
They do need to farm up though. They can afford to lose their T2s. OG don't have a great way, I would say, of hitting T3. Ember, probably one of the worst tower hitters in the game. And Sven is not particularly great.
It may not matter though. It may not matter if you just take a big fight up against IG. And OG's lineup is leaning down that lines where they have that much control, that much damage. But IG just need to find more and more items before they can take any kind of fight.
It's just so hard to counteract the Warcry, especially because Lifestealer still went for a physical damage build. I've seen some Lifestealers try to go for Maelstrom quite early to deal with a Sven, so you can actually do damage to him.
Lifestealer and first combination, but of course the TP scroll. I mean, the ward scats at the TP of Slaughter. That's a lot of TPs coming in from OG. Roshan's not even there. But it gets them away to safety and out of the dire jungle.
They know they just need to be there with numbers. OP trying to best to split push out. He does have the Midas BOT, so going for the split push game. Avoid fighting for now, while OG is incredibly strong.
Just keep that farm going.
BKB up in this Sven. Wow, he is massive, actually.
Yeah. The BKB is done. We're 23 minutes in on this Sven.
It's crazy how farmed he is.
Maybe Mask of Man has helped with those transitions around the jungle and from lane to lane. Obviously, having 3-1-5 on the KDA is also not too shabby. Another big group up underneath the vision of OG. So again, IG. OG's got too much information on them. They see everything they're doing. And Jirax, okay, that's confident to say the least. Rolling boulders forward just to blink out. Even though he has perfect vision, knows there's nothing to come from it. It's the bottom lane where there's something to come from it. Fly wants to get that shallow grave off, but he just can't get his arms up in the air to do it. Pulse Snap causing too many issues, but now it's S4's turn. Support for support with the Infest out. Anna has to jump away pretty quickly away from the Sunstrike. So Q picked up by S4. The Battery Assault does the work. Sleight of Fist down from Anna, and now has to Spirit jump the other way. Can't get the secondary jump off. Unless he wants to buy back and be part of this fight. Maybe that's the reason why Burning is now looking to run to the west. Stormbolt will fly out. He has the Rage available, and with the cogs burning, he'll have to Rage and TP to get out to freedom. But now, okay, there's too much damage coming his way. He just has to Rage and try and run it off, but it's not going to be enough. Even with the open wind trigger, he can't get enough life back in time. But he wastes the time of OG. This allows OP time to push bottom lane.
Aren't going to win this game by team fighting in the next 5-10 minutes. They have to just sort of push out as much as they can, go for quick pickoffs with the Slaughter and the Lifestealer, and just try and draw this game out. Maybe take a fight at the next road if they feel like they're strong enough, but that seems like an unlikely shot at this point. That worth not looking so bad.
Oh, quick blink. Difficult, very difficult for a starter to get that if a player is actually watching his hero at the time.
Dire's top
With the help of
tower is
a max level Sunstrike, it may have actually just been enough damage for the Invoker to find the kill. There goes Jiragus the Immortal.
They've successfully avoided him. And now they have the Jakiro Force Staff, so they can actually have some tools to deal with the Clockwork Hookshot and Cogs now. Clockwork actually has a full Crimson Guard. So just getting more and more physical mitigation versus this Lifestealer who is their primary damage source. But they still have to worry about the Invoker. Invoker can still put out a lot if he gets a Scepter in a timely fashion. Looks like it's going to come out in probably just the next minute. So despite net worth being pretty heavily in favor of OG right now, it is not bad enough that Invoker can't get his items.
It's still a good position for a Dazzle. Like okay, Dazzle doesn't have a lot of mana because he still is walking around with basic brown boots. Oh, nice, real nice silence with the Stormbolt. No, Yule Scepter. Dodge up from OP, but the Sleight of Fist plus the dust, they see him. Quick BKB trigger as well from Notel. He needs a creep wave, and he's actually got one pushing in through the bottom lane, so they can remove the last tier 2. Make that 10-second BKB charge worth it.
That death also came right before his last component of his Scepter. That little bit of extra greed. We all know that feeling.
Speaking of that, Jirax, what are you doing? Just rolls himself up to the Dire Bounty rune and then just gets crushed. He went straight through that IG jungle. You expect at least one defensive ward.
Well, you also expect IG to defend their tower, but they were not interested at all. So Jirax probably like, what the heck are they doing there? Do they not see they're losing all their towers?
Well, let me find out. I'll just dangle this big piece of bait, which is myself, through the jungle and see if someone bites, or at least nibbles.
Look what his team got out of it, though. They got a T2 and a Shrine.
Yep.
The last T2, to be exact.
And now they just rotate the other lanes. So you push up, force out the top lane, and look towards the last Shrine of IG. Make sure their only building TP point they have is inside their base.
So with the completed Ags on Invoker, perhaps they can take a fight very, very soon. I think maybe next Roach is an okay time to fight. The Sven does still have his 9-second BKB, so maybe they don't find that too enticing for them.
Yep. And now he's actually picked up the Orchid, building into the Bloodthorn. Real issues if he can catch out Lifestealer before the Rage. And that Lifesteal is going to die very quickly. And Invoker currently has been using his Yule Scepter to dodge the other initiations, mainly the ones coming in from Earth Spirit. Dodge the Stormbolt of Notel. Instantly into smoke and maneuver. OG want to kill. They have the biggest target they have is top lane. But also on bottom lane, burning. Forcing out the lane. Do they find something better? If Slaughter comes out to farm this, then yeah, they found something better. They just don't see it. They only see the Tornado fly. And now Bowica he stayed here way too long. We're gonna lose all that wonderful armor that is the Ogre's. And he is mincemeat at that point.
It's okay, you don't really care if the Ogre dies right now. At least not in that
maybe mid lane, you might care about that. Notel, the BKB, he's being protected by the Crimson Guard as well. Gets away from burning. Eswat to hook shot in to buy a little bit of space, but in comes Earth Spirit. Jirax looking to come in through the side. They don't keep the chase going. So a lot of missed abilities by Deafening Blast as well as the kick from Jirax.
Wow, they saved Sven with just a sliver of HP there. That would have been a huge kill for them, considering he's super high on the net worth chart right now. And really no signs of slowing down from him. Sven also going for the Orchid into the Bloodthorn, very common build versus the Lifestealer, who doesn't generally build a way to get out of silences.
That was a nice try from OP, but Notel didn't wait for it. He actually triggered the Shrine really early on. Didn't wait for the rest of his teammates to arrive. So it was only the Ember Spirit that got hit by the Sunstrike. Right underneath that Observer Ward. Hotel's got Blink available, so this is a very, very quick and simple kill. Hero was doing his farming before he was even looking to do the D Ward. He had the Sentry and the Observer Ward on him. But he just never looked to see if OG had vision.
Just taking turns donating to the OG cause, 26 to 8.
The advantage isn't as big as you probably would expect either. Like it's about like 7,500 in favor of OG for the net worth.
Momentum-wise, it's all OG.
Oh yeah.
Like, even if the net worth isn't that bad, look, they control every one of these fights. They're constantly killing the supports. Lifestealer feels like he could be threatened at any single time and can't actually man up on a Sven. And then Invoker hasn't really had a huge impact in any of these team fights and had a terrible start.
I'm going to make more space once the BKB is done on Slaughter. At the same time, he's still a full recipe away from having enough money for that. But with that, he can cause a lot more attention of OG to be forced onto him.
Long road, though.
It is. Stay in the trees, Ogre. Stay in the trees. With Bloodlust and Force stuff, he might be able to do a lot. Is he jumping out? Yeah, he's waiting. Waits for the right time. They catch the Ember Spirit out. Now with a follow-up stun to S4. S4 doesn't have an easy way out. He'll battery assault, triggers off the Crimson Guard. Well, he's already lost his Ember Spirit, so he's already lost a lot of the support. As Jirax was coming in to help him out. That's some breathing room for IG.
Did he actually have his Lincolns that fight? Did he get it after?
Oh, he got it after. I think it was actually in stash.
Lincolns is really important. It's kind of like 15 armor, I would say, because that's what it's blocking right now, the level 2 amp. About to be level 3 amp. Although that's only for a brief period of time, and it doesn't really help if Lifesteal is beating on you the whole time.
Yeah. At least Lifesteal's not walking around with Desolator as well. Jirax, yeah. It's, yeah, an optimistic play. There's a lot more support around, which is in the form of the Ogre. Interesting to see that they're going for those type of plays. Sure, if Invoker's not involved, he can always just bring in that Sunstrike. Able to hit pretty hard on the Jirax. Notel's already pretty low too. S4 locked inside of his own cogs, so he'll stick around, beating into the Ogre Magi with open wounds. S4 now nowhere to run. The Force Life will push him out of range of the Ice Path, but you've got the Invoker coming in too. Starts with the EMP burn. S4, there's no way he was escaping from that. So another core as well as the support this time around, falling for OG. And Invictus Gaming on the back of this, they look to the big man.
Finally, some signs of teamwork from IG as they just group around as 5, waiting for OG to fight them and fall into their trap of potentially thinking that they're split up.
IG, you've already got 2 kills and you get a buyback out from the Clockwork. And not going to take the risk of completing Roshan.
I think that they can still at least fight around the pit. Invoker is very threatening around there with the mass clumpage and very difficult to escape the EMP inside the pit.
But you're still looking for those items, right? Like that BKB still needs to be finished on Slaughter. You want to finish up the Lincoln Sphere over on the Invoker, so he's got the protection. Even Ogre Magi is staring down the barrel of getting something like a Lotus Orb thanks to that plus 60 gold per minute he got in the first talent tree.
They still have to be quick on their reactions, though. It's very similar to last game. Like, if they're not quick enough with 1 or 2 of their spells, everyone's just gonna fall.
Oh, here they go again. Okay, actually just TP'd all the way back to base. Scouts it with a Sunstrike, so he knows the Notal is at least inside the pit.
They're actually quite far away. No-Tail with his Bloodthorn is going to make very quick work of Roshan.
Wow. Yeah, that did not take long at all. They didn't even have like the Ember Spirit for that. He was busy pushing out the waves and controlling up the bottom lane.
Solar Crest also really good versus Roche.
Oh, too long again. Q overstate is welcome. 4 starts up, but stunned, silenced, magnetized, hook-shotted. Actually hit the creep wave more than anything else. So Q with the 7 one-shotters will survive a little bit longer, but no one coming. Q has to accept his own fate. He is dead.
Still not too late for Invoker to make big plays too. He's getting close to that point where he has the AoE Deafening Blast. I don't really think I've seen anyone take a minus tornado, go down over to AoE Deafening Blast.
Would make more sense if he is that teamfight controller.
But the thing about the teamfight control, even with Tornado, you still have so many other spells you can use. Like Cold Snap, I think is pretty good. Ice Wall is very, very good, and Deafening Blast is also very, very good.
Oh, small little opening on the Yoga. Watching that top lane where the gank was coming in from the live stealer. The BKB triggered off. The Shallow Grave's already been used to with the Sunstrike. S4 just waits out his turn. More supports on the way. So Tornado coming over from OP. Notel hunting down that live stealer. He's got Phase Boost to run through, but does he have enough live steal with S4? Hook shotting in. They have a lot of damage, and Notel just hits him hard with a crit. And now that's live stealer and Slana down for a full minute. Problematic to say the least.
Problematic indeed. Sven does not have a way to top himself off though. No healing ward, no nothing. He might have to start off the fight at like 500, 600 HP before Armlet. They don't really have that great of a way to punish that, especially with the Slaughter still down.
Oh, nice rooting coming in from the steering chains and the kick. Pushing Jakiro back into harm's way. Gets a perfect ice path. Catching out Notel. He's trying to toggle it out. Remember, he does have that Aegis the Immortal with a Stormbolt onto the Yoga. They'll expend everything they've got. Quick Yule Scepter up. Jirek's trying to create more space, but another ice path. Macropire well off target. Actually doesn't go through the Ember. As a quick pause. Small little bit of lag. But that Earth Spirit's in a bit of a rough spot. This, I suppose you can invoke up Cold Snap pretty quickly. So if Fly's able to escape out, like... Does OG bail from this fight? Like, is that their choice right now?
They bail at least back to the racks. They're in really, really deep. Still have to respect the Invoker, and all like fighting that deep means a lot of shrineage.
Yeah, that's right, because then IG's going to have a lot of regeneration. And that one shrine which has already been triggered behind the tier 3 tower on the top, they don't have that level of regeneration either.
Ember's very low on mana too. Can't really continue without Ember at this low mana.
Yeah, sitting at 173. No real regeneration from him either.
Yeah, they just need to wait a little bit, reset.
I suppose your upside is still the fact that Notel is very willing to fight. Like, he's got a lot of mana to work with. He's got the Aegis, the Immortal to burn.
He's very tempting to go for as well because he's very low on HP.
Well, in we go back into the game as we've managed to resume. Ogre gets quickly picked off by Q, and the retreat out through the base. S4 is actually stuck inside the base underneath the tier 3 tower, with the Tornado going to pick him up. The EMP burn's going to be there too, so he's got no mana. He's trying to hook out the Bobo. He was right in the line, so he couldn't get the perfect look. So S4 will die, and IG will repel OG from the base. But OP's not done. He wants more. He's looking if he can find Ana. Ana doesn't actually have BTs. He's got that TP scroll to take him home. And now finally he'll actually purchase up those BTs.
That was pretty close to being another +1.
So they hold the tier 3 tower, they repel the attack. You did have to expend a buyback. Actually, no, you didn't know. The only buyback that's been expended recently was on Clock and Jakiro. So, on support, you're not really caring that much about him.
They just need to wait for, I think, IG to go on them. They can easily just weave and then start beating on the tower. And then if you're fighting, you have to fight into, let's say, like 10 stacks of weave. And on top of that, your other heroes will have fantastic positioning because they're not just going to let the racks fall. They don't have to dive, you know, well behind the T3, well behind the racks into that area that's, you know, a quarter of a screen away from the shrine or from the fountain.
God, Notel really wants to hunt for this kill. He moved quickly into the Dire jungle, then TP's up to the top lane looking for the Invoker. Finds the Forest Spirits in the double creep wave. And slowly pushing himself closer towards that Satanic.
You definitely need to be able to push lanes out. I think that's where Invoker comes into. He's had the BOTs for quite some time now, and he's actually very high up there in terms of farm. Not as high up as Sven, but I think very high considering the circumstances of this game.
Now, you got to be happy, like even keeping up with Sven, who's had so much control of this map as an Invoker. You're more than satisfied with that. He's also only died, what was it, one time since that big fall when we're like, okay, how long has it been since he's had his Midas kind of conversation? So the Invoker's had himself a very good time staying alive and just finding a lot more space, a lot more control, and being involved in more fights.
He's also weathered the Sven's first few BKBs too, so BKB is down to 7 seconds, and Sven is kind of just a walking war cry, I would say. Once he gets to the point where he doesn't have very many BKB charges, a simple ice wall will just make his life absolutely miserable.
OG's coming out again. They want to have a good fight here if they can find one.
What is Jakiro saving up for? He has 3,000 gold.
Yeah, that's a lot of cash. He could be looking for Disable himself, but with Lincoln Sphere already on the field, it doesn't make as much sense. Like the simple things you normally go for a Jakiro with Yule Scepter.
Yep.
And that's a good Lincoln's trigger.
He went for the health over the cast range. The cast range is incredibly good because it makes your ice path longer, which is really, really good. But chooses not to go for it.
Fly's starting to get a little bit of vision for them to work with. He realizes putting a ward up on top of that hill maybe not as great to get it deeper inside the lane.
So now 2 BOTs picked up. So net worth is not even that big of a difference right now. Ember Spirit had to sell his treads, and Boots of Travel just, you know, are not that useful in terms of actually being able to team fight, in terms of what some people like to call, like, I guess, fight capable net worth is much different. Like Midas, BOTs, those sort of stuff like aren't really useful in terms of in the middle of a team fight. Whereas, and same with like Jakiro. Jakiro was sitting on a lot of gold. He has opted for the Yules and does help his team out with the Gem of Truth side. So he's finally fight capable.
All right, so at this point, IG very happy to defend from high ground. So OG, they need to find some kind of opening, right? Like you're running around the map, but the thing is, IG's also doing the same thing. Like we saw how effective it was in game 1, and they're looking to try and exploit it here in game 2 by doing the slider lifesteal, a quick jump, find a kill, and make it so OG sits there going, I'm fighting 4v5.
They have to. OG has to play the game like there could be a slaughter lifestealer at like any turn, so they can't really push out the lanes as well as they want to. Ember Spirit. Are they going to actually scout out the heroes during the daytime? They are walking under an observer ward. No-Tail will be the first to show.
Smoke. IG know they have the advantage here. They have the advantage of vision. They know where No-Tail is moving, but they may want to get a little bit more information before they go in for this. They know that No-Tail is still sitting in that little tree line, but they jump forward, they go down, and they're chasing down after S4, but with No-Tail BKB triggered, there's terrible amounts of damage into burning. 2 heroes lost for Invictus Gaming, and it will jump back. S4 able to survive with the gem. Battery Assault will also cancel out the TP of the Ogre, so he won't be able to survive. When they're chasing down the bigger hill, it's the Invoker. Won't happen. They're back down to the Ogre to kill him off. 3 heroes lost. All do have buyback for Invictus Gaming, however.
Oh, Sven destroyed them that fight, and really great positioning by Dazzle. Like, I don't know how Fly always does it. He doesn't have any mobility items, no Force Staff, no like Glimmer, no.
He's
like,
just
sitting under smoke.
Always in the right place.
No Blink Dagger. He's just, oh yeah, no problem. One of my teammates gets jumped.
Why did they go on S4? Out of all the heroes they could have gone on, they went for the Clockwork, even though they had the vision of the Sven.
Yo, you don't want to go on the Sven. That's the tankiest.
Yeah, unless you get the stun on him at the very start.
Yeah.
That Clockwork's still walking around with like 30 armor.
That's true. Lifesteal is pretty good at dealing with those strength heroes with large amounts of HP. I would like to see them kill the Earth Spirit. I think they saw the Earth Spirit in the back with that Observer Ward, but maybe he was standing a little bit too far north because it's kind of heavily obscured by trees. So IG's heroes will all respawn in about 15th time, Ogre being the last of them. Will it be enough time? They will use a glyph to buy them time.
Fairly certain Jirax also saw that sentry ward down. He jumped in with a gem. So yeah, he definitely saw it. Anna, Lincoln Sphere is going to be triggered. There's that Yule Scepter going to work. Hits the ice path as well. So actually with the pushback, no, it won't be enough.
No one stopped his Blink Dagger. And Ember Spirit's almost level 25 now. That's a big power boost for him. I would say even way bigger than Invoker's AoE Deafening Blast. So that's definitely something that you pretty much just have to use a cooldown every time you get Searing Chains, or else you're just taking absurd amounts of damage, and it's just the easiest setup in the world for any of OG's spells. But they don't actually have that many cooldowns to work with. Like, are you really gonna BKB off of Searing Chains or even Rage? Like, those are all both things that you don't really want to use.
S4's going to go after Blink Crush on the back line, keeping no tail out of the fight. They push him in range of the tier 3 tower, but with his BKB triggered, happy to walk through the ice path. He's got the help of Fly, just basically the back heels of him. Banner is the one that slows this down. So the Slider Fist here in chains, jumping in deeper, and then Spirits away. Remember, he's still not up at level 25, but he at least forces the Shrine usage out from Invictus Gaming, who then smoke up, looking for their own opening. There was no vision of that from OG, and that's the reason why the Earth Spirit put out of position. He dies from the Tornado Fall? Yeah, he does. Gemma True Sight is now lost for OG, and he's dead for 70 seconds.
They showed us Sven on
Wait,
the
are they
right
TPing into this middle lane? No. No, you are not. Multicasting just to make it stop. It looks like that was actually No-Tail TPing in.
It was strange. That's one of the... They didn't really coordinate that well on OG. Sven showed bottom, and there were still heroes around him. And of course, IG are going to jump with this Sven there. He's the majority of their damage right now. And Ember Spirit, he can't really go full in just because he doesn't have as much armor as his teammates. They weren't prepared with the Dazzle Weave beforehand. There's just a lot of things that weren't going right for OG at that point in time. They probably didn't expect everyone to be full HP from the Shrine, though, so I can kind of see why they lingered around for so long.
This buys more time for IG. Like, I'm mainly looking at this Adam coming in from Burning. That better lockdown by having the Abyssal Blade available.
He actually did a lot of work to defend that fight, too. He wasted a lot of his BKB duration by being able to stun him early on in the fight. And as you mentioned with the Abyssal, it just becomes that much easier to limit this Sven's amount of damage.
And once you start to do that, then there's more freedom for the rest of Invictus Gaming to start fighting.
Yeah.
Like, you're still walking around with this Lotus Orb over on Ogre Magi, so you got a little bit more freedom for, like, Slaughter to jump in without being instantly countered by any abilities.
It's also really good to even dispel, like, the Searing Chains, I would say. Because 5 seconds is...
That'll be nice for someone like Burning who, like...
Roshan is taken...
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be quick.
Aegis and Cheese. So, let's see. Sven, I don't know if he needs it. He also has a Satanic.
You've got the slot on the Ember Spirit. He's already moved the Veil of Discord to his backpack.
Yeah, who takes the Cheese, though? Sven backpack, maybe?
Yeah, you could backpack it for him.
Or no one?
Or you could just forget that it even exists, and this one little Forge Spirit, if he sees it's like, what do I do? What do I do? I don't do anything because I am completely unawares, and now Jirax will grab the cheese.
It hasn't really seemed like 3 roaches for them.
It really doesn't.
So Sven has the Satanic, but he still has the high possibility of getting kited without his BKB up. His BKB is down to 5 seconds already. This is where the Invoker level 24, almost level 25, really begins to shine. When the pressure's on the enemy team, they want to be able to break high ground, yet they don't really have the tools to do so. And they're also starting to scale less and less because of the slot limitation on a lot of these heroes. Ember kind of 6-slotted, already having to put the Veil in his backpack. Sven 6-slotted, no room for even the Aegis or the Cheese right now, so things could get a little bit hairy for OG if they don't make things happen with this Aegis.
That Crush just on target. S4's gonna lock him inside with the Cog implications already up. Five Steel will pop out. The Ice Master trying to create a little bit of space to get out, but S4 hook shots back in again, looking for a target. Maybe with the kick and the control, they find it over on the Slaughter. They have it, and even the extra slow is onto Ogre Magi. Lotus Orb will try and protect him. The push up, maybe this is the bigger kill, however. Burning, silence up. No-Tail needs just one hit. Blink comes off cooldown, and there it is. One hit to the crit. Q pushed back up by Jirax. Now he's stuck up on a cliff top. And the rest of support is there. Q will slowly fall. They just watch him die. Bit by bit, he'll tick down, push down, but the Gem of True Sight regathered. And the push coming into the top lane. Buybacks galore from IG. That's all they've got left. Just a quick Deafening Blast, Meteorite, anything you've got just to make it so No-Tail has a little bit more trouble. But now that Jirax has his Aghanim Scepter, no one's in any real trouble.
Front line of OG has been playing incredibly well. Like, it's just so hard to bypass the Sven and the Clockwork. And the Sven is godlike in this game, and he's like outputting a ton of damage while being incredibly resilient.
Caught the Live Stealer. Also managed to get the silence on him. The follow-up kick from Jirax. Can they keep it going? Live Stealer still cannot rage. He cannot infest. Remember, he doesn't have buyback. He already expended it. You got 13 seconds till IG are back at 5 men, and they're not even gonna have that time. Jakiro down for almost 100 seconds, and Notel looks to the opening. Lincoln has already been triggered. He doesn't have the Bloodborne available, but he's got a huge amount of physical damage. One swing, there it is. And this may even be the game with Invoker buying back. He cannot die again. The jump forward, the damage on his bed is high, but you've still got Fly right behind him. Gets the Shallow Grave off. OP looking for his target too, and the best one they've got is Ana sitting inside the base. You get the quick bash, but again, you're losing heroes, and the hook shot in. S4 goes to the play, the 4-staff out, but OP's in trouble. He's down for 2 minutes. That's the opening that OG really wanted. Burning kept off the front lines. G-Rex is chasing him and actually kicking him further out. They might be able to battle onto the Triumph. They can trigger this now. Burning will have a little bit more life, but you've got the Shallow Grave, you've got the Sustain, the Blink Crush. The space might be creative, but is it going to be enough? The Yule Scepter up from Sparta. He'll break free of the Bloodthorn, but not from Ana. A quick slide of Fist and Fly with a Shadow Wave damage. He'll find that kill. 4 heroes down for IG. There's only the Life Stealer left alive. A little bit of missed skills there from Ana. Doesn't get the perfect control of the Life Stealer. But OG are just doing their work, and they will call it IG. We're going to a game 3. OG will force it, but it wasn't easy.
I don't think I've ever seen a Life Stealer controlled so well as in this game. And the Rampant combination of the Slaughter and the Life Stealer have fallen to OG and their amazing amount of teamwork. I also feel like the strong players from IG last game didn't play particularly well this game. Boboka died, I think, 13 times this game. And OP, I don't